Rishi Sunak is prepared to take Britain out of the European Court of Human Rights if they block the government's new draconian immigration legislation. That's according to the Sunday Times, who say Sunak thinks the move may be necessary to stop asylum seekers crossing the Channel. The story is based on briefings from sources close to Sunak. One of them told the Times this: "The PM has been clear he wants to introduce legislation that meets our international obligations. This bill will go as far as possible within international law. We are pushing the boundaries of what is legally possible while staying within the ECHR, and we are confident that when it is tested in the courts, we will win. But if this legislation gets onto the statute book and is found to be lawful by our domestic courts, but is still being held up in Strasbourg, then we know the problem is not our legislation or our courts. If that's the case, then of course we will be willing to reconsider whether being part of the ECHR is in the UK's long-term interests." Sunak's new bill will make it illegal to claim asylum in Britain for those who arrive here by irregular means. That's if it goes ahead, of course. The intention is that asylum seekers who arrive via crossing the Channel will be automatically deported within days, either to their country of origin or to Rwanda. Grant Shapps was asked to justify that policy on Sky.
If you come here via an illegal route, so you come here to claim asylum and you know in the first place the way you're getting here is not legal, you haven't got on an aeroplane, you haven't got on a commercial service, you've just been trafficked illegally, then if you come here via that route, then you shouldn't get rights. And that, I think, is quite a basic.
Get rights.
You shouldn't get rights if you're brought, if you consent and you come here through a legal route. What we must have is a situation where people can come here legally and claim asylum, but not illegally.
Yeah, but I think the point is that you can't get here legally to claim asylum, can you?
Yes,
unless you are from people with specific routes
come here,
from Ukraine, from Hong Kong, from Afghanistan.
People come here all the time and legally claim asylum when they get here. But the important thing is they haven't been people trafficked to get here. They bought a ticket to get here rather than being people trafficked. And people are paying for that trip, by the way, huge amounts of money to the gangmasters. It's not they're getting here free. It's not they're coming here via that route because it's a free way of getting here.
I'm just disputing whether there is legal routes for people to come here and claim asylum legally, given you have to claim asylum in the first safe country you pass through to get here.
Which also calls into question why it is that hasn't already happened before people end up being
a different debate.
People trafficked, doesn't it?
I'm just questioning
whether
there are safe and legal routes for people from countries other than those.
Well, all I'd say is I don't think there's a country with a bigger heart when it comes to taking people in, including, as it happens in my own home, bringing refugees here. But you've got to have that through legal routes.
Now, as to that point about no other country having a bigger heart, you just have to look at the migration statistics for the countries who have accepted way, way more asylum seekers than we have and haven't made such a big deal out of it. We freak out when a few thousand people cross the Channel. Germany accepted about 1 million asylum seekers in a year, right? So there are countries with bigger hearts, trust me. The more outrageous point probably was him suggesting that anyone trying to cross the Channel, there's a simple solution. They should just get the plane. Why don't they just fly here like everyone else? Ash, has Grant Shapps cracked the Channel crossing problem? These people should just fly here, just get the plane.
Michael, I don't think that he could crack an egg, even if he was giving detailed instructions and a diagram. I mean, you might be shocked to hear that he's talking total nonsense. So, number one, there isn't any provision at the moment for people to claim asylum when they are not in this country, unless they are from a handful of other countries, including Hong Kong, Ukraine, and Afghanistan. So if you're from Eritrea, or if you're from Syria, for instance, you don't have the recourse to claim asylum when you are in a different country, or if you're in your country of origin. So that would leave you two options. One is to try and come here on some kind of visa. Now, what we've seen again and again is that actually the Home Office, the Border Force are very, very stingy when it comes to even tourist visas for countries where people are, deemed to be absconsion risks. Now, this also is a way for the UK to make it harder for legitimate asylum seekers to get here and claim asylum. But those tourist visas, which would, make it possible for people to come here and then claim asylum when they get here, they're incredibly difficult to get. So if you can't get asylum when you are in your country of origin or elsewhere, and also your ability to get some other kind of safe and legal travel is next to impossible, then the only avenue you have open is irregular crossings. It's making that a barrier to being able to claim asylum and regularize your status isn't solving the problem of a lack of safe and legal routes. All that's doing is forcing people into the shadows. People will still come here by small boats. They will still come here to be reunited with their families, to seek safety, or to try and build a life for themselves in a country where they might know the language, or where they might feel that there's a community that can look after them and show them the ropes. People are still going to do that, but you're forcing them into sections of the economy which are cash in hand and unregulated because you haven't given them a means to regularize their status. It's really upsetting to see how smug he is when he's saying all this, because if successful, this would have a really brutal impact on people's lives.
Yeah, I was looking this up today because, to my shame, I didn't actually know how one would get a tourist visa to the United Kingdom. I haven't traveled that much outside Europe, so I haven't had the experience myself. But apparently what you have to prove is that you are going to return to the country you've come from. So essentially, you have to provide documents to say, look, I'm clearly only going to come to the UK for 7 days. I've still got this rental contract on my flat. I'm due back at work in 7 days' time, etc., etc. You've got to prove that definitively you are not going to stay in the UK. Now, obviously, if you're an asylum seeker, precisely what you want to do is stay in the UK. So Grant Shapps is either saying you either need to successfully commit fraud against the UK Home Office and get a fraudulent tourist visa, or there's no way you can claim asylum. It doesn't seem like a particularly genuine, faithful suggestion that he is making. Oh, all of these people can just get a tourist visa and claim asylum, because no, you can't get a tourist visa unless you can prove that you're going to go back to the country you've come from. And obviously, if you're claiming asylum, that's not what you want to do.